Hello, folks, and welcome to Game 2 between Team Liquid and Team Alternate. We have some Star Ladder Series, High League Series, Star Series, Season 13. I think I got all of that right. It's a bit of a mouthful for you all, and we're going to jump right in because a draft has started. Once again, I'm Llama Down Under, and today I am going to be joined by Scant. I'm super excited. Assuming I've done this right, I even have you unmuted in TeamSpeak. How you doing? Okay, I probably haven't done it right. That's always a bad sound. Ah, I see what I've done. My mic wasn't open. So, hello, Scant. How are you doing?
I am doing alright.
Excellent.
That's I didn't hear. Did you introduce me? I didn't hear
I
that.
did. I did the thing where I'm really professional and forgot to open my mic to you. So,
Okay. So you
don't-
told the people about me, but I didn't hear what you said. So hopefully you
only
said good
horrible
things.
things. Only the worst. I told them all. Oh no, not too much. Now, Scant unfortunately didn't get to see the first game, so let me just sum it up for you. Invoker Ursa killed everyone, pretty much.
Okay. And this is I mean I'm just actually checking because like what are the odds on Dota to launch for this
Oh,
match?
I didn't have time to check because I was doing a solo, but yeah, I mean somebody probably got Bugattis. And not only did somebody get Bugattis, I feel like I know there's a type of bet where you're like, I bet they can just take one game. There are some very happy people out there. So
Yeah, so
it was holy cow,
79%.
7% chance on alternate. I didn't know it was that bad. I assumed it would be like 80-20.
Yeah, it's I mean it depends on which site you're looking at, but it looks like Dota to launch the main bet is 79%. But I mean look, I gotta say I don't know that much about Team Alternates. I have crossed them once or twice, I've watched them once or twice, but I don't know them especially well. Like they're sort of just like generic tier 2 team as far as I'm concerned, and Team Liquid are easily considerable, definitely top 8 in Europe, potentially top 4 in Europe even.
Yeah.
So you expect them to, quite easily just win this match. This is, by the way, this match, am I correct? The winner of this is the final slot in one of
Yes.
the groups.
We have two relegation matches today. Whoever loses here is just out of Star Ladder. Basically, it's the teams that came second in their groups. You have to fight to stay in. Oh, it might be actually the teams that came third. My maths is bad. But yeah, both the games today between Team Liquid and Team Alternate and between Navi and HR are loser goes home, winner continues on into the next phase of Star Ladder. So now we'll see if Alternate pick up. They've been picking a bunch of Invoker. In the last 5 games I've costed off them, Supreme has played Invoker, all of them. And they are very dominant with the hero. But we already have a bit of a draft underway. I think very standard first round of bans. The Tusk actually banned out by Liquid. Jerax did mad work on that. In the first 2 minutes, he had 4 kill involvements.
Yeah, he's like one of the better Tusk players that exists in the world. I mean, people these days talk that's just because OG's in the limelight, playing all the time. Jerax was playing Tusk. I mean, even back when he was playing in Korea, that was like one of his main heroes. And look at that, they actually respect ban the Invoker. So clearly onto something. Supreme Invoker, just worth that respect ban. Team Liquid start the second phase with the Gyrocopter, and I'm actually curious about the fact that nobody's picked up the Shadow Fiend, because I feel like that's sort of one of the top meta heroes right now, and usually for it to go this far into drop from the SF suggests just that neither team actually wants to pick the hero.
Yeah, it also got pretty far through last game, and it was actually... I shouldn't say it was underwhelming. I feel like there was a lot of trouble finding a good place for the Shadow Fiend to go. He managed to pick up the Scotty pretty early against the Ursa, and it just didn't seem to do as much work as it normally would, kiting around that hero. So now, with Team Alternate having Invoker banned out, I have literally no idea what they'll pick for Supreme. He's clearly a competent mid player. He actually lost the lane pretty hard from the standpoint of he died, I think, 3 times early game within the first 10 minutes. You know, he was having a rough time, and Invoker does lose lanes because he had to go Exort, not Exort, he had to go Quas Wex. But he clearly has the mechanics, and I wouldn't be surprised, as you said, Shadow Fiend, maybe something else. And Alternate could just be waiting on this, right? If they pick up the Shadow Fiend here and Team Liquid lets them get it the 4th pick, this is a minus armor strat.
Well, Shadow Fiend's very good with Dazzle, you're right, there's the minus armor synergy too, but after the Battle Rider pickup, that's one of historically the favorite heroes actually for dealing with heroes like Shadow Fiend. Just pulled out of position, teammates can't protect it, and you can burst it down. And it's something that we saw multiple times actually at DreamHack on the weekend. Teams picking up that Bat Rider to pull heroes like Shadow Fiend out of position to just, you know, isolate them and be able to burst them down, and then it's not that scary. So
10 seconds remaining.
I would have expected a lot more before the bat pick. Now I'm not too
5
sure.
seconds remaining.
I also wonder, Kuroki, I've seen him before run a support Batrider, which was interesting, and I believe they ended up winning that game, but I'm interested to see whether this is going to be Fodder Batrider, which apparently I say wrong, but we're gonna go with it. We got
what have you been told to say? I think it is fodder.
I think it's fodder. Okay, excellent. Chat then just
or
is trolling
or...
me. I don't want to. I feel like he's said fodder before, but I also know I have a bit of an accent. I think it's
what
just
are they
my
telling
accent.
you? Because Toby says fader.
It is
like,
short
I'm
for
pretty
fatality.
Sure that's wrong.
So, but I'm pretty sure it's fodder. Either way, Wraith King, a great hero for burning a big spell like the lasso. Unfortunately, I feel like here, it's going to put him in such a bad position that it may be just burning the life twice.
I don't know about that. I mean, Slaughter's got sprints, he can get there pretty quickly. Dazzle has pretty long range on his spells. I think that Wraith King probably is one of the better picks you can pick into Batrider. If your number one concern is like we want a one position or a safe lane hero that's not just gonna get destroyed by Bat, there's not a lot better than Wraith King. There's maybe Slark is another option, but I think I do like the Wraith King pick. Yeah, I think I could go with that, and definitely it's not that surprising to me to see what I'd call a tier 2 or tier 1.5 European team picking heroes that are like super popular in the pub meta right now, because there is that kind of interchange between, you know, mid-level pubs and high-level pubs and mid-level pro teams that seems to like be quite malleable. And Wraith King, of course, is huge in that pub scene at the moment. So yeah. Razor, pretty good response to Wraith King, I think.
I agree. I feel like Razor obviously super able to kite with Queen of Pain to help. My only question here is, I'm assuming it's the support Batrider. It could also potentially be, I've seen once, I think, I want to say Alliance ran it, but I could be really wrong. They ran a support Quap a while back, and I don't want to say that because it's kind of really far out there, but we've seen it once. Maybe it'll be that instead.
It's good. I gotta say, it's something that I've tried in pubs. It's Elodance does it for Empire every now and then, and Minas does it for Alliance, the support Quap. I think because it's Team Liquid, and exactly as you pointed out, like we've seen Kuro actually playing the support Bat, so I would just like guess that. I mean, we'll find out any second now. But I actually think support Quap is really good if you have a player who knows all the ways to exploit the hero early on. It's a support hero that is very difficult to kill, very good at sniping couriers, can get around the map pretty quickly, set up deep wards without danger. A lot of the time you need to use smokes to set up those deep wards early on, but Queen of Pain can do that. So I think I'd prefer to see it support just because it's cool.
Oh, it is!
Oh, yeah, it is.
Sorry, I got
That's
so
great.
excited.
No, that's
I wasn't expecting it because I haven't gotten the joy of casting one myself. So with that, we're going to be hopping in, folks. I think this series has been full of surprises. We got to see a wonderful Invoker play. We get to see a really strangely dressed Death Prophet. I almost didn't recognize her. Thought I was in a different game. But yeah. I also have to say I like the Death Prophet Lost pick just because her Exorcism, of course, is physical, and then you've got the amp damage. I was a bit worried about how they were going to take advantage of Slaughter, get some more synergy, and so I think having that up, you know, you're going to melt people with Exorcism.
Yeah, she's also... Death Prophet is also, like, out of the sort of carry or core heroes, one of the better ones to pick against Razor in the sense that if he steals your damage, you don't really care. Like, she's not dealing damage with right clicks. This is a hero that deals more damage over a game usually than almost any other hero except maybe Venomancer or Zeus. And it's all it's like Crypt Swarm spam and it's your ulti, which sure it's physical damage, but not your physical damage. So Razor's just gonna be stuck to that Wraith King all game, stealing his damage. That's gonna be really annoying for him, but Death Prophet's Supreme's not gonna have to worry about it, I think, at all.
Yeah. Now let's quickly introduce the players because I have a bunch of interesting things to bring up. We have L again on that Bane, Supreme on the Death Prophet, Exotic Deer on the carry, Wraith King, and we have a little bit of an engagement. It's just poking at people, but if they get enough stacks here, they may actually be able to kill off Supreme, damage being stolen, and Exotic Deer with the body block now puts napalm stacks on himself as well. Supreme, I think 2 more auto attacks may do it, and Dazzle went with the heal, 1 more on Supreme, and gonna tick out to the Quap damage. So a nice start for the lineup, and they might be able to get more. Exotic Deer has 6 sticky napalm stacks. I think he's going down to these autos. 1 more auto. Goodbye, Exotic Deer. So maybe a game-winning start from Liquid. Let's finish up the introductions really quickly. We've got Nisha on that top lane, and of course Dazzle is going to be played by Robert. I'm tossing it over to you for Liquid.
Yeah, on the Liquid side, there's Xerax playing that Winter Wyvern in the mid lane, trading hits with Bane Elemental at the moment. He's protecting Fata or Fado or Fado or whatever on the Razor in the mid lane farming. Yeah, they've got Natumberman who's fighting up against that Slaughter on his Jarrak up to the top lane, and in the off lane there's Kuroki support Quap supporting Mind Control's off lane Batrider. And speaking of that support Quap, that initial fight with the 2-for-0 trade in favor of Liquid, that's actually already something we should talk about support Quap about, because if you have a core Quap and it charges in that position and casts Shadow Strike, a lot of the time what you'll see is the team will say, fine, they're going to kill the hero that got Shadow Strike, but we're just going to kill Quap. She can't blink. When it's a support Quap, it's fine. You go for that Shadow Strike, and like if they turn on the Quap, so what? And speaking of Shadow Strike, some harass coming out in this bot lane, but...
Oh, should be fine, and Kuro just blinks away from the Wraithfire Blast. Exotic Deer again with 4 sticky napalm stacks. I mean, I'm not sure how he's meant to farm down here. And also Matumbaman taking a surprising amount of damage from Slaughter. He's being really liberal with those Slithering Crushes. So, I also wanted to discuss Kuroki's item build. He went for really greedy items. I think they really sacked the Wyvern. You can see the Wyvern just has 2 Ironwood branches and a Clarity, because he had to buy, I think, most of the wards and extra regen, because Kuro, when he started out, had like a Circlet and so on, and oh goodness, they going in again. Gyrocopter does manage to pick up Slaughter in the top lane, but we have a Firefly on bottom. Little underwhelming. Not the fight I should have chosen to watch.
Yeah, unfortunate, but I mean, you don't. It feels like there's potential for action in every lane in this game, and so we've got to be looking around quite a lot. What you're saying about the slightly greedy Queen of Pain build, I mean, Winter Wyvern is like one of the best suited heroes at playing this sort of 6 or 7 position support. Kuroki's actually gotten slept up here, but I think with a stun, yeah, they kill him.
K-Doke, he went down very quickly, clicking over, seeing the heal bomb coming off, and L actually taking a lot of damage. I have to say, I really like the Bane support, obviously seeing a lot more action, partly because of the buff, but just he can trade hits so effectively, and then of course gets it all back with that pure damage from Brain Sap, so... Really
yeah,
enjoying
Bane
it.
Elemental's a ridiculously strong hero right now. It's one of the heroes I'd probably earmark for like some kind of nerf in the coming patch. It's one that might escape a nerf actually, just because it's like a sort of silent hero. It's a support hero that like doesn't make huge flashy plays. So sometimes Ice Frog is sort of just like, okay, those heroes can stay a bit stronger. But if you ask professional Dota players, almost everyone will agree Bane Elemental just like wins lanes. Like it should always win the lane that it's spending most of the time in for its team, and that's a pretty big deal.
Now, Wyvern has finally abandoned this mid lane, and we actually have a 1v1. Supreme coming out a little bit on top of Lost Hits, and you can see she had Death Prophet had 42 damage stolen. It's what you mentioned. She doesn't care. She's like, it's fine. I will use the Crypt Swarm. So, gonna be a nice lane for her. And I imagine bottom is where we're gonna see the rest of the action, because they have turned this into a tri-lane, which helping Exotic Deer, but he is still behind.
Well, Kuro's looking for rotation into that mid lane, and so far he's not been spotted. There were some pings, but he's gonna I think he's just gonna steal the rune from Supreme. There's no way Supreme actually gets the rune against him.
Yeah, and this is really rough. Oh, Supreme does have backup though, and now this means that Fodder should be able to get it, and yeah, Kuroki just bouncing over Mind Control, throwing out some sticky napalm, seeing what he can do, but looks like that'll be the end of that engagement. Let's talk game plans a little bit, because Liquid definitely has a bit more of a... I mean, they have good damage output from both Razor and Gyro, and then I feel like it's a support Quap, so maybe she won't be kind of that damage output Quap. Oh, we have a cooldown on top though. Slaughter might be able to run this away. His sprint is on cooldown. So, oh, he just popped it there. That's why. But yeah, I feel like the game plan for Liquid is probably just, you know, come the level 6 on the Batrider, get a few pickoffs after he gets his blink, and then you can maybe snowball from there, especially with a Razor and a Gyro.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Liquid are looking good draft-wise, mostly because I feel like Team Alternate's draft depends a lot on Wraith King getting a lot of work done, and actually Liquid's got great heroes for kiting the Wraith King. Razor's gonna steal his damage all fights. Wyvern could just heal up the person he goes for. He's not gonna be able to go for the Queen of Pain on his own, he's gonna need help for that.
And speaking of going, Mind Control taking quite a bit of damage here. They also have the Brain Sap still. I think they get the kill. And now Kuroki, he needs to blink away. Easy escape for him, but unfortunate that they lost their offlaner. And yeah, it does feel like Alternate's lineup is a bit harder to execute. While Death Prophet is always well known as that hero who can just kind of stand there and output damage, I think making sure that the Slaughter gets the blink in time, and as you said, Wraith King, I mean, he needs a blink dagger, maybe a blade mail depending on what build he wants to go, although I like that here against a gyro. Then maybe some damage items.
I mean, just think about what's gonna happen, right? There's Bat Riders putting napalms on him. That's like a nightmare for a melee carry. There's Quap to just spam Shadow Strikes him and blink away if he tries to go on her. The Wyvern with like multiple
Radiant's
types
top
of slow
tower is
and
under attack.
prohibitive physical damage. And Razor to steal. There's just so many heroes that are like very irritating for Wraith King to take fights against, and I think we're gonna see that work out in the mid game.
Yeah,
with
we've
Liquid.
got a nice sleep going down. L actually forcing them to back out. I also wonder if we'll see, I've seen this a few times, Wraith King can always go omelet. Oh goodness, L, he's going to probably fall here. Does he have another brain sap? He does get it off. He has the shallow grave that can back him up. He's got 5 sticky napalm stacks. They managed to get the shallow grave off in time. They could go for Kuro. He has to bounce away. I have no idea how they kept the main alive there. I really thought he should have gone down, but brain sap is strong.
Brain Sap's really, really strong. It's like the #1 reason that the hero is rated so highly. Mostly in terms of the early harassment, but also later on. It's just like pure damage, and it's essentially double in the sense that it deals the damage and heals it. So he's already got great base stats, he's already got great move speed, and then he's got that brain sap, which is just like an insanely powerful, even at early levels, spell.
Yeah. So, I'd be interested to see whether Exotic Deer... I've seen this a couple times in professional games. I think actually Alternate may have been the ones who did it last time, although it didn't result in a win for them. It may have been Power Rangers. But, oh sorry, Arcade. They ran a Maelstrom against a Wyvern, just on the Wraith King, just to try and make sure that they, one, it's a good farming tool for a Wraith King, and two, just to make sure they could get off some damage in the Cold Embrace, but it just feels so underwhelming.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I wouldn't say that would be like if you're gonna go for Maelstrom, it's not just gonna be because of the Wyvern.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a nice little benefit, but he's actually being gone on right now. He's not level 6. This is a great time to kill Wraith King. He's got the shallow grave, but I don't think that's gonna be enough to keep him alive at all. In fact, Dazzle might die with him.
Yeah, Dazzle has to be really careful here. The Wraith King does go down. They're thinking about going for more, and with Matumba Man coming in, Rocket Barrage, goodbye Dazzle. Stream as well. I think Kuro trying to take one of those for him. But, I also, Matumba Man's early rotations, this is what I mean by I think the lineup for Liquid's so easy, right? Matumba Man's a hero, maybe he's not getting as much as he wants out of top lane, although as I say that, he's at 50 CS 8 minutes in, so he's clearly having a blast. He can just come bottom and get some kills there, and then maybe come mid and get some kills there.
Oh, Hirax is being dived.
Yeah,
Top
he's
lane.
gonna stop taking any sort of damage. The brain sap on cooldown. They could also nightmare him in place if they were so worried. A nice Splinter Blast Nisha. They have to toggle the aggro off of him, but whoever's coming in the quap gonna get an easy kill there. And without the brain sap for 3 more seconds, actually, L thinking about going for it because we got a Dazzle. He wants to stand up and close. Kuro has the blink away though, and he gets out on 50 health. Just Kuro things.
And this is like the main feature of Support Queen of Pain is that blink. It's like how much value you get from like a 1300 range blink at level 1 for support hero. It's unheard of. Like there aren't other support heroes can do things like that. And we've seen even early on in the enemy jungle, he's able to play really aggressively because he knows he can blink away, and then he's able to TP in, pick up a kill, and he knows he'll get away as well. And it's one of the major advantages of the Support Queen of Pain once you get that early value and like levels and manage to get things done.
Yeah, and it's just the little things as you mentioned. Oh, they're going in on Supreme. They have the lasso. They've got the damage steal from the static link. Supreme gonna maybe be able to walk it off though. Slithering Crush and amp damage coming out onto Fodder. He does have a DD, but they're going in. And if they have a brain sap, oh, Nightmare gonna set up the kill. Let's see if Mind Control will go down too. I think he's got enough sticky napalms that should be the end of that. But a really nice turnaround. This Death Prophet keeps getting out on very little health. I mean, she's having so much damage stolen.
Yeah, so the problem right now, I think, is not about the Death Prophet, it's about the Wraith King. I mean, sure, if she'd been dying, it would be a bigger problem. You're asking, is he gonna go Maelstrom? I don't even think we get to the discussion about what he's gonna buy. It's... Okay, Yerax is caught again.
I think he's Arctic boning over the side. Can they hit him right there? Oh, goodness, they can, and the heal bomb comes out. Of course, being physical damage, amp damage, making that good work. You were saying on Wraith King, you don't think there's a discussion of what he goes?
Yeah, not because it's obvious what he goes, but because the more serious problem is that he needs gold. He's behind, and Wraith King is one carry that really doesn't like to be behind. So his team wants to get him back ahead as soon as possible. Like, he doesn't want to be picking up an item after the enemy core picks up an item each time.
Nisha is making interesting life choices, losing a lot of damage, but now that they have the Fiend's Grip, Fodder should be falling. They need a few more auto attacks. Brain Sap gonna be what gets him off, or kills him. And I agree with you, Wraith King. I've seen a lot of people prefer Midas on that hero just because he really needs gold, and he doesn't farm well. He's not... I mean, yes, he has Vampiric Aura, but he's not somebody who comes with Cleave. He doesn't build into Cleave, obviously, so I think Exotic Deer, rough road ahead of him. Although he is in the top 5 net worth, he may be about to take a tumble. He does have that secondary life. If anybody could TP up to support him, but the support's looking like they're nowhere. And is he just going to TP out? This is a... Okay, Kuro actually decided against using the ult there. I think he was worried that more people would come in.
Yeah, it's actually a tough call. I think he should have used the ult for mid lane.
Supreme is going down. Winter's Curse, double hit by the cooldown, and yeah.
You know, you're talking about Midas earlier, and actually I think the main reason people buy Midas on Wraith King when they do is just to get the levels up, because his ulti has a really long cooldown at the low levels, and that's also kind of why I think Kuro maybe should have gone for the ulti. I suspect he cancels it because he's hoping that they can kill without it, so that they can use it for the second round. But I think that afterwards he might have thought, could have been worth it. Well, gonna maybe use his ulti here.
Yeah, again, they're going in, but with the sprint away, another nice way to deal with a Razor. So Nisha's gonna be fine. Yeah, Wraith King's ult, each level that you get in it takes 100 seconds off of the duration. Like, that's somewhat ridiculous. One of the longest cooldowns in the game, I believe. And oh, as I say that, they are smoked up. They are looking for more. The sprint is going to be spotted. Kuro, of course, can just blink away. Matumba Man, though, he needs to go fast. And he's got a Yasha. He's got phase boots. I'm not sure.
He's got the cooldown as well.
Yeah, he's got the rocket barrage, and that's going to be what turns Nisha around. So it's really hard to sprint into. I mean, it's kind of funny because while Gyro did fall off because of the prevalence of Slaughter, I feel like as a hero that takes extra damage when he tries to get up in your face, he's going to be punished, and oh goodness, what is going on behind this tower? Slithering Crush doesn't hit on anyone. L realizing they need to get out there, fighting under a tier 1 tower where a lot of members of Liquid can get back in. The cooldown going to zone them. L goes for the TP, doesn't manage to get it off, and neither does Dazzle. Really not the fight they wanted to take.
It's funny, as the fight starts, you're like, what's going on? And I almost feel like that's the issue. Team Ultimate went in and they weren't really sure what they were going to do. Bane started his Fiend's Grip and immediately cancelled it. Nothing cancelled it for, like, he just was like, actually no, I'm not going to do this, we need to run away. So it tells you that they didn't have an exact plan of how they were going in, maybe hoping for a solo hero to pick off, and when they realized there were a lot of heroes, just sort of panicked and paid the price.
It's really dangerous to go under these tier 1s, right? There's so many places, especially in mid, because of how close the towers are. You can TP to the tier 2 and basically be like TPing to the tier 1 because of how close you are, and then of course the reduced TP cooldown. So taking a look at the net worth, this puts Liquid in a very dominant position. They're approaching almost 5,000 net worth lead and over 3,000 experience lead, I say, as again, this Nisha trying to go on the Wyvern, but Winter's Curse coming out. They're gonna get one more auto attack. Oh, goes for the Slithering Crush. Goodbye, Nisha. I also feel like it's really ambitious to go on a Wyvern who has Cold Embrace at any time, which stops every form of damage output from a Slaughter.
Yeah, it can definitely, I mean, in a way you can't blame Slaughter because he's actually successfully killed the Wyvern a couple of times this game like that, but at the same time you're right, the interaction like isn't that favorable for the Slaughter.
Yeah, so a little bit of an ambitious play, and now the defense being mounted, they do not want to give up this mid tower on Liquid. I think obviously it's a very important tower, one close to Roshan, but mainly close to your jungle. If somebody ganks you up, it's easier when you have more towers to TP to. So, but I think Wraith King, I mean, he hasn't died recently. He's also been able to farm a little bit in bottom. Looks like he's going for that blade mail. And as I say, this cooldown Fiend's Grip, El may just burn out. No, doesn't quite die to the cooldown, but the Hadoken and Queen of Pain coming in. I don't think Exotic Deer is getting anything. He does have backup, so the second life shouldn't be in vain. And Jerix doesn't have the Winter's Curse. They get the Slithering Crush off of Kuroki, but he'll just blink away the moment he's up. And now Exotic Deer, as I jinxed him, saying he wasn't going to go down. Going to take a tumble here. Fodder looking for Robert as well. One more auto attack. They get it. Yule's actually up. Supreme trying to do some damage. Matumba Man goes down on the backlines, but they kill off the Slaughter for his insolence, and Fodder, I'm not sure they can catch him. He has that bonus move speed. He has some points in unstable current. Crypt Swarm does get the kill. So ends up being a 3 for 2, but it might... I was gonna say it might be in favor of alternate, but I forgot that they bought back on the Bane.
Yeah, no, and Kuro got a double kill, and he's actually just getting all the kills now, so if you look at the net worth, he's actually richer than the enemy Wraith King and Slaughter on support quap.
Yeah.
And it's starting to show. I mean, I don't know what he's going to buy next. It could be he goes straight for that Ags. He might get a Yules, or they've caught L.
Yeah, it might just be a kill.
No, I don't think they have enough.
Oh, and maybe deciding not to go for it. Supreme turns around, gets the silence off, but Kuro, he does have a Sonic Wave and a Blink. He is going to be just fine, and Wyvern should be able to flap away. Although Octobone is on cooldown for a while, Slithering Crush does come out. They've killed off the tier 2 tower mid, so maybe they have enough damage, and one more auto attack should do it onto Jerax. Uses the Cold Embrace at the last second, but Crypt Swarm more than enough to deal with that. So a nice return kill. At least they got something on alternate.
Kuro's brought up a point booster. He's going straight into the Aghanim Scepter, which I think when you're doing this well is probably the best for support crop. I've seen some go for the mechanism for Guardian Greaves, some for 4-star for Yules, but I think like why not? He's actually getting enough gold to play almost like a core crop. And they're smoking down to kill Red King again because they know his ulti's down, it's level 1.
Yeah, Wraith King gonna take a tumble here. He can try as he might, but just walking it off. Saving Grace, Slaughter very close to that Blink Dagger, and now getting some free farm up in top lane. So, I mean, it's not great, but at least you can argue someone's getting something out of this death on your
Yeah, I mean, so the Death Prophet's level 11, so if she gets an Exorcism off, and there's like a really big Slaughter stomp, with like maybe an important grave or something, they could definitely win a fight. But a lot of stuff needs to go right, and if the Death Prophet gets burst down, I think there's basically no chance. Like, she's definitely the damage output for them to win a fight at this stage. So, I mean, I guess good for them. She's got the Yules to protect herself, her Silence, Dazzle's Heal, Grave. Even Wraith King can kind of provide a distraction. But I don't see Team Alternate winning any fights where DP is not the main damage output.
And Batrider's got the blink, got the own, and some change. Sandra and Yasha finished up on Gyro. Really early timing on that. I mean, this Gyro been getting a lot of kills, but he's also now a bit rough to kill. Although they have a smoke up. They're trying not to break it on Kuro, but it's gonna be broken. I think Kuro, yeah, he just saw them uphill there as well. So Supreme maybe not going to find what he wants. He's, as we said, got the Yules. Do you have a preference? Bloodstone, of course, was nerfed last patch, but it's still, you know, it's not a bad item if you can get some charges on it.
I think you gotta buy the Yules. I mean, Yules was like the most favored hero in the whole freaking Dota game for a long time, and the nerfs that it got are not nerfs that are really applicable to this hero. Like, sure, it costs more mana to Yule someone, and it's like slightly shorter range, but she's really fast and she has a huge mana pool.
And a lot of the times you self-Yules. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna self-use during like
They try to go for a Fiend's Grip onto Matumba Man, but he is not alone, never alone, and instead Bane gonna be giving up his life, tries to keep it alive for a while. We actually have the Exorcism coming out and Matumba Man melts. We do have the Winter's Curse, but of course these own spirits do not attack, and Supreme has a DD as well. Looking to get more on this Wyvern. At the same time, if Cold Embrace will stop a lot of that, but once the Cold Embrace is done, will there be a turnaround from Liquid? Jerax melting. Kuro thinking about going in. Silence does come out, does have a blink though the moment the Silence is done. They need a Slithering Crush to hold her in place, not able to get it, and Razor coming in on the backlands, trying to do some work onto Robert. Fodder may have overstepped his bounds. These two heroes both really fast, spirits unable to latch, and I think Fodder gets out just fine. And now actually it is Nisha who might be in a bad position. I'm not sure that they know he's up there. Oh, Kuro blinks, Nisha sees it, Nisha going in for the auto attacks even with the slow. Can Nisha get it? No, he's going to be pushed backwards. Sonic Wave to make sure he doesn't go down, and Kuro and using that thing.
Kuro is 1,000 gold away from Aghanim Scepter on 4 position Queen of Pain. He's not even level 11 yet. It's completely outrageous. I mean, this is not... You don't pick support corp expecting to have such a great game, but this is one of the upsides that when you do have such a great game, it transitions very, very neatly into an extra core. And once he hits that Ags, then suddenly I think they're going to be winning all the fights. Like, there were some moments of panic, I think, for Liquid in that fight, and it's mostly because Batrider and Gyro both unload their ultis to kill Bane at the start, and then DP is thinking, Supreme's like, well, I have Exorcism, we've got a Slaughter, like, we can just go ham on people, and that's what they do, get a couple of kills, but I still think the ball's in Liquid's court, very much so.
Yeah, I also have to point out that I feel like with Kuroki super farmed, Mind Control isn't actually doing poorly either. I mean, last game, the net worth before the first 35 minutes, I think, it never was larger than a 3,000 gold swing for either team. This game, 7.5 thousand gold in favor of Liquid, and almost 7.5 thousand for the experience as well. They're in a dominant position, and Wraith King, as we talked about, hard time playing from behind. He's got a blade mail to his name. Like, while it can return a decent amount of damage, I don't think it's enough at this point.
Yeah, Wraith King is like close to the point of becoming irrelevant in this game, and it's so bad for a Wraith King to try claw your way back into a game. Like, there's so many tools to ignore and kite him, and I don't think that he's going to cause any trouble.
Yeah.
in comparison, we see Crow just like split pushing this lane because of all the farm he's got, because of all the levels he's got. He draws enemy heroes. Slaughter keeps coming in. They keep trying to like pick him off. And even if he were to die from like a 3-hero rotation, his team doesn't care. They're getting rush. He's just some support hero. So things going well for Liquid. It looks like Alternate might sense the rush is happening.
They might, and they do have a smoke, so these wards won't spot them, but it's going down quickly because Matumba Man, of course, he had a DD for a good portion of that. But Slaughter, he's going in, the smoke has been broken, he gets the stun onto Matumba Man, he's gonna take probably a rocket barrage, but they do the cooldown. They've also got the exorcism flying around, Matumba Man dies, Fodder now doing a lot of damage to Robert. He's gonna go for the TP out, and now they're working in on Jerax, but oh goodness, Robert has stopped his TP. And it looks like they're trying to take the Roshan. They do have Exorcism out, so it wouldn't be a bad thing. And if they can kill off Jerax, they don't have to worry about that Winter's Curse. So a big turnaround for Alternate. At the same time, they have to secure this Roshan. And Fodder coming in. Fiend's Grip onto him. They get the Roshan. Kuro unable to steal it, but a big Sonic Wave. A lot of people taking a lot of damage. Exotic Deer has boned 1 life, and now he's getting the crits onto Kuroki. They kill off the Razor as well. Somewhere, somehow, out of nowhere. Not really out of nowhere. I mean, part of that was a 2v4. Look, Alternate take a big team fight off of Liquid.
There's a very big mistake made by Liquid that caused that to happen, and what
Maybe another
mistakes,
Yeah, Slithering Crush. They have more than enough lockdown. I mean,
it's the same player, by the way. I mean, I don't know if Mind Control's made the call there, but right before that rush fight, he actually TP'd top. So he was expecting, okay, they're gonna try kill Kuro. That's what they've been doing. Fair enough, and he's gonna be ready to counter. But because he TP'd top, when the enemy team all appears at rush, Kuro can TP down there, but the bat can't. And I think that's a really big deal. Responding to the initiation, like, suddenly everyone's on your gyrocopter, you need people to be able to, like, pull, you need heroes that can pull them off gyrocopter. I think there's a, what's the term? There's like a LoL term. I don't think there's actually a Dota term. It's called peeling in LoL.
okay.
to literally peel people off your carry. And that's the Batrider's job in this game, and unfortunately he was, you know, indisposed. He was at the top lane, couldn't TP, had to run all the way down.
And as you pointed out, I mean, it's pretty devastating. They were 7.5 thousand gold ahead. Now they're maybe 2,000 gold ahead. I mean, look at this swing, and that's off one team fight. They also have the Roshan. They're gonna get a kill on Exotic D. He doesn't have an ult, so he falls. I wanted you to look at... Okay, never mind. She just casually picked up the plate mail. I'm assuming this is Octarine, not Bloodstone, on the Death Prophet, but it could be either. I think Octarine next on Death Prophet, a little more popular. I'd have to pull up the stats to do that, and that would...
Yeah, Octarine is probably the more natural choice. Bloodstone's not bad either. And the plate mail will eventually become a Shiva's almost certainly. Although, this is actually a really good game for Lotus Orb, so she could go back for that Lotus Orb. There's a lot of nice things to return.
Or even remove some buffs, like there are some slows that you could get rid of that might save your teammates, so yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree, it's a really nice Lotus Orb game, and I was also going to say, I really don't think Supreme should be the one to pick it up, but it's not a bad AC game either, you know? As long as someone's not Winter's Cold Embraced, they will melt to everything coming out of the lineup of Alternate. If
Kuro and Jerax, one of them's probably gonna get caught here.
I think it's Jerax, because, I mean, on one hand, it's unfortunate that Jerax keeps dying. On the other hand, I think it's fantastic that he's the one who's eaten. I think this is like the 3rd smoke he's been the victim of now, and it's much better that Jerax goes down than someone like Matumba Man or Fodder on the Razor.
Or even Kuro, who's actually 50 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter, which is like, I mean, he's become a core in this game, and it's pretty significant. Although, if you look at the relative net worth, suddenly Wraith King and Slaughter have overtaken not just the Queen of Pain, but also the Batrider. So, trying to become relevant again. I think the relevance of the Wraith King is still going to be, like, I think he needs to be an item ahead. So, catching up is maybe not necessarily enough for him. But the farm on Slaughter is a very big deal, and he's nearly got a BKB. And I think that's going to help him stay around in fights and get lots of stomps and amps up, and that is significant, especially because of the interaction with the Exorcism.
Yeah, and we've been seeing, I mean, you see this time and time again. Gyrocopter early game, the majority of his damage output early game is magical, right? The flat cannon isn't a huge worry until later in the game where he actually has a hard right click. So being able to dodge a lot of that damage, of course Quap, other than the Sonic Wave, also has a lot of magic, Splinter Blast, Plasma Field flying around. That helps a lot, and also stops the Slaughter from being kited, as we pointed out, by the Batrider.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know. The game's evened out quite substantially. I still think draft-wise that Liquid are maybe a bit favored, but
Oh.
Is Mind Control gonna get picked off here?
He's getting a lot of damage done to him with that blade mail, but I actually think that alternate, if they go in any deeper, they're going in too far. They even use the Fiend's Grip onto Mind Control, and they're thinking about going in again onto Fodder the Nightmare. I'm not quite sure if that was meant to be on Nisha. I think the play here is get the tower and get out, but at the same time, they do have Matumba Man working on their tower up top, and Kuroki pushing in bottom, and we'd mentioned this before. Are they even going to get the mid tower? No! A beautiful Winter's Curse. It stops so many TPs. They're maybe going to lose their Bane. He's taking a lot of damage, but there is the ult, and it melts through Kuroki. Queen of Pain brought down, and L manages to live, and on the sidelines, we're still chasing for more slaughter. If he gets off a Slithering Crush onto Fodder here, he gets it. There's the amp damage and the physical damage from the spirits just ripping through them. I still don't understand exactly how ghosts do physical damage, but clearly painful.
Yeah, I don't know, it's one of those ghostly properties that they can just, I don't know. But what the only positive for Liquid there is that Exotic Deer actually TP'd out, went on Matumba Man, and if the TPs didn't get cancelled, they would have killed Matumba Man, because he just needed one person. But instead, actually, Matumba Man killed Exotic Deer once, got rid of Wraith King's ulti, and then TP'd himself out, so at least they know the Wraith King ulti's down for the next 2 minutes, but as I've been saying the whole game, I just think that the Wraith King is not the key player for Team Alternate, so, you know, taking him down, not that significant.
Yeah, and this completely evens up our gold and experience with that little team fight. While it's great that, as you said, Matumba Man didn't go down, I think it was kind of ironic because Kuroki was pushing in bottom. He actually came home for that and then was immediately blown up. He probably now deciding, you know, it would have been much more worth it if I had just put more pressure on this bottom tower, opened up the jungle of the Radiant a little bit more. So, and I'm not sure. This is exactly what happened last game, albeit the lead from Liquid wasn't as substantial, but they were definitely ahead, and then a couple good team fights came out of Alternate, and they were behind again.
It's strange, I mean, like, no discredit to Team Alternate, but I do feel like when I watched Liquid in the past, I don't know, they had a bit of a break where they didn't play for a while before, I don't know, about a week ago, I think, if that's correct. And it feels like Alternate are playing as more of a unit, as more of a team, and Liquid a lot of the time not quite on the same page. Well, they're gonna go for a play together here. 3 of them running in, 2 TPing in, and
now the Slithering Crush on the side. Fodder is being Fiend Script up if they can get the damage, but there's also drag back from Mind Control. Many heroes in this cooldown, and Supreme pretty much dead, not gonna get off that Exorcism. It's also on cooldown, so I think finally a very well won team fight for Liquid. They're gonna get all 5 for nil. So as we were saying, we're worried about their team cohesion. They're clearly doing well, and okay, he was drawing something. I thought he was maybe going to write something on the map. I love it when they do that. And that's a huge team fight.
I gotta say, it's a massive error by Team Alternate to not recognize how important the Exorcism's been. Like, to go into a position where you might get into a fight and you don't have your Exorcism, like, to me suggests that either they thought there's no chance of a fight, or they just got maybe a bit too confident because the game flow has been going so well for them recently. If the Exorcism's up, that could be a completely different fight. Without the Exorcism, they had basically no chance at all of winning it.
100%. It does feel like right now, with how the Wraith King's form is, that's all of their damage. I mean, he's rocking Blade Mail and Hyperstone. Kuro does get slept up, but they can put some pressure on this mid tower if they feel like, since Kuro just has that easy blink away. And again, Alternate now back on the back foot. Kind of funny. They did so much work in that one team fight to get themselves ahead, and they're right back where they were beforehand. Octarine is finished on Death Prophet though, and now she can work on that Shiva's. It helps them a lot here. You know, extra armor since there's a lot of physical damage flying around, and of course the attack speed slow.
Yeah, in the meantime there's a BKB that was finished before that last fight to Matumba Man, and I think that there's another BKB coming up on Fata as well. And it's interesting because there's not really that much spell damage coming at them, and actually some of the disabled, the Fiend's Grip goes through BKB, but it's one of those cases where I think that the dynamic between the two drafts is that they know that they can kite the Wraith King, they know that they can try burst the DP, and then if they've got BKBs, these annoying little spells like DP's Carrion, Crypt Swarm it's called in Dota 2, and Slaughter Stomp or Wraith King Stun just won't hit them. I mean, yeah, the chances are the BKBs are mostly to do with the Crypt Swarm. I remember reading a stat once, and I can't give the exact stat, but I think that Crypt Swarm deals more damage than Exorcism on average in a DP game. I think that's the
that would
stat.
make sense. I mean, with the prevalence or the frequency with which you can use it. I assumed it was mostly for that Slithering Crush. It's got a huge AoE, and he's caught a number of heroes a few times here, and I can see that getting frustrating. You know, you're ready to go, Slaughter jumps in on you, can stun all 5 of you if you're close enough, just because of how big that AoE is. So I wouldn't be surprised for either of those. And also stuff like maybe you're trying to reinitiate after a team fight, and then Bane just sleeps someone, and that can be frustrating. So BKB stopping all of that. Nightmares.
Yeah, BKB is also just the kind of like universal item that a team gets when they, you know, as the final step of, okay, now we're comfortable doing our thing and not worrying about what they're trying to do to stop us. And exactly because of like all these little things that add up, like someone getting slept or someone getting stunned, and suddenly the plan you tried to coordinate in the fight can't happen.
Now, they're really far up on alternate. I have to imagine a clash is coming. I think Kuro saw them. They throw a weave out, but it only hits on one. They manage to get the stun on Kuro, but where is the damage? The silence comes out as well. They're doing quite a bit, a couple more auto attacks, and they pick off Kuro, but here comes the rest of the team. There's going to be a grip onto Supreme, and again, if they take out Supreme before the Exorcism, but she manages to get off her Yules, the first death has been burnt, and Kuro buys back. Now the Exorcism is out, but Supreme immediately brought down to 0 health, has to have the shallow grave used, and I'm not sure she'll get to kill people off before she goes down. She manages to catch one, but this makes it a 3, well, technically it's a 3 for 3 now, a 3 for 4 because Kuro died twice, but definitely not a favorable fight for alternate, and it felt like maybe they should have killed Kuro, cut their losses, and backed out. Somehow they still get up on top of the gold exchange with that fight, but not so good when it comes to experience. And also, Nisha, they're looking to pick him off again. He is way too far out. He's gonna blink away. I think he's building a Lotus Orb. Will he be kited here, though? That is the question. And without a Force Staff, okay, he's gonna get a big Slithering Crush off and he should be fine. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a Lotus Orb coming out of Nisha. And as we talked about, a really good item here.
Well, there's been a Nightmare on Smithsumberman in the mid lane. There's no Fiend's Grip to follow though, so I don't think it's just like casual Nightmare. Like,
I think it's good. It delays the push, you know, and the damage coming out on the tower. But as you mentioned, there was no chance of follow-up. Slaughter, not enough to kill him, and if he went in right now with how farmed Matumberman is, might have been able to just turn it around, although he was completely out of mana.
it's just that intimidation factor. You know when you get Nightmare, you lose like core vision.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you're like casting or watching, you forget that because you don't see that that's happened. But there's, I mean, I'm sort of joking, but there's also like, if in a different situation, there is this extent to which if you get Nightmare and you're far away from your allies, enemy team's alive, like you don't actually know who's going to be there when you wake up.
Yeah, it's very common, and you get surrounded, and then your allies also don't have a good idea of what quite's going on, as you said, because they can't see. So, really powerful skill. I think even if they know about this Roshan, because they're kind of posturing and close together for alternate, they can't contest this one, just with the state of the game. So, unfortunately, not going to be able to stop this one and have a big team fight there like they did last time, but we're going to be instead seeing Wraith King. What is he? Okay, so he still just has a Hyperstone. I don't know if he's trying to build into an AC. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it's going to come out really late. I mean, it's like after the blink, having an AC, maybe 40 minutes at this rate. Maybe a bit faster. He's got good progress.
I mean, I think it's the right item because unless he thought he could farm to Radiance or something, right now the problem is that he's struggling to get a lot of time where he can hit things in fights because the enemy team is so good at kiting him. So buy an item that's sort of for you but also for your team. I think it makes good sense to go for the AC.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And we can see the heroes on Liquid doing really well. I mean, Gyro is 10 and 3, Kuro's 10 and 5 on that support quap. And the net worth chart, we've got we actually have still got 3 members of the Radiant in the top 5, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. This, as you mentioned, the Farm and Wraith King, it's just not feeling like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's only because of Kuro's dieback, really, that the situation's like the same reason you asked after the previous fights. How did the Radiant get the better trade? It's because of Kuro's dieback. He died, bought back, died again, and he actually is going for Lotus Orb too.
Yeah,
and
we're going to
also
see
for a kill.
Fodder, he gets stunned up. They're doing quite a bit of damage. He pops that BKB, so no more stuns, but oh, a nice Winter's Curse turning around onto Supreme. There's not actually that much damage going in. Kind of the story of the right click here, and we also see Bane buying back. It looks like Bane died on the bottom lane, I'm gonna guess, and lost a lot of gold for that buyback. Does manage to stop them from pushing in, but we still have an engagement. Okay, Supreme does manage to TP out. I'm really surprised they didn't bother to pop Exorcism for that kill. I feel like you have to know one of your only hopes of bringing down the tanky Razor is Exorcism.
Yeah, the problem is that there's, you know, you definitely don't want to be in a position where you cast Exorcism, and the Wyvern just ulties you and everyone runs away. You have to be in a position where you're guaranteed to get value from it, and I think because the team was split up, there's a worry that if I use Exorcism now, they run away, and then they know until the next Exorcism cools down, which is, what, 100 seconds or something?
Yeah.
They can just do whatever they want. So I think there's unusual amounts of pressure on Death Prophet in this game to be very precise in deciding when to use Exorcism and how to use it in fights, how to move around fights.
Yep. Now, Wraith King is only about 500 gold away from that AC, but of course this will mean he's buying out. He does have that level 3 ultimate, so only 60 seconds cooldown, but it feels like Liquid's in a great place to kill him twice. So it's rough, and I feel like as well, Death Prophet's really slowed down her farming. She was doing a really great job getting closer and closer to that Shiva's, but they've just taken a few bad engagements and not owning their jungle, because we've seen Liquid in here a few times. Oh, I love drawing on the map. We've seen Liquid in here a few times, and it's looking like it's rough to find anywhere for alternate, so they're slowly getting starved out, about 14,000 net worth behind.
Well, what we are going to see is the Lotus Orb up on both sides very soon. Kuro's about 600 gold away from his, and I think Nisha is... Does he have it? Or no, he's also about 600 gold away from his. So there could be some pretty awesome shenanigans in the next fights if there's good timings on Lotus Orbs. We could see a bunch of things bouncing back, and that always makes for entertainment. Good luck to you casting that kind of fight.
Yeah. It's funky. I just... Oh, we see Matumba Man going in on Nisha a little bit, but I think this is just kind of that threatening area, and do you... Yeah, we've got... I always wonder why amp damage tones some heroes, especially the Gyrocopter. It tones him like this light color and doesn't kind of tone other heroes particular color, but that's not important. That is just probably Dota bugs, to be honest.
I don't know, maybe it's because he's like mechanical and it's raining on him, so he's rusting.
Exactly. Very quick rusting, although rust can happen overnight. Now, Lotus Orb on Slaughter also really close, right?
Yeah.
So
They're
I have
both
to...
gonna be up very soon.
But the AC's already finished on Razor. He just had that delivered. So suddenly, all of alternate easier to take out. And I feel like Wraith King has his as well, but might be worried about buyback. I think you just have to go for it.
I think he buys it. I think he buys it before the fight, to be honest. Honestly, if Wraith King goes down twice in a fight, that's like the best kind of fight that could possibly happen for his team. And it's not a useful hero to buy back on anyway, like, once his ulti's down. So I'll be surprised if he doesn't finish the AC sometime in the next, like, 30 seconds.
Yeah. I agree. It does feel like, you know, you're not the Death Prophet, where if you don't get off your Exorcism, you really need to have buyback. Because that spell can turn around a team fight, but... Ugh, it's looking rough. And it looks like... Yeah, they're maybe even on Liquid gonna wait for the next Roshan, just really wanting to make sure that they're free to push back in. It's gonna be a super short Roshan timer too. 8 minutes and 20 seconds. That's nice for them. So, while they did just, you know, Aegis went down, but everyone's gonna be happy. So, is this a soak?
They can wait. I mean, Liquid can just starve out Team Alternate, as you've been saying the whole time. They got control of the map. If they want to go, they can go. If they want to pull back, they can pull back. If they want to wait for Rush, they can. They've kind of got all the cards at the moment, so...
Yeah. It actually looks like they're ready to go. I'm a little surprised. I was expecting them to wait for Roshan, but at the same time, it does feel like, and I'm sure they can feel it, there's a huge lead for gold and for Liquid. And oh, they're going in. They're pulling out Exotic Deer. He's going to be taking a lot of damage here. He does have a secondary life, of course, being a Wraith King, and Nisha pops that BKB, jumps in, but everybody else has popped their BKB. Potter is being held in place, amp damage on him. The Exorcism's floating around, but everybody is so low. Exotic Deer, first death has gone down, and the Dazzle already going down. It means now Matumba Man, they can't touch him with that physical damage. Winters goes onto Supreme. If they take her out, everything's going on Kuro. Waiting for the Sonic Wave, waiting for the Winter's Curse to be down so he doesn't get that 70% damage reduction on all their heroes. And this may just be GG. And there we go. We're headed into a game 3.
Too bad we didn't get to see the Lotus Orb shenanigans, really. But that fight was really well played by Yarax on the Winter Wyvern. He actually initially blinked away, and then just like, he waited really long to use his ulti. The second blink, blinking in, making sure Supreme goes down. So I excellently played that fight by him in particular. And yeah, I don't know. As you said, I didn't see the first game, but I do feel like in the early stages of this game, some question marks about Team Liquid and their togetherness as a team. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they a bit rusty building their way up, and game 3 will see a fresher liquid.
Yeah. So once again, though, folks, thank you all for watching. I was joined by Scant. You can see his Twitter handle on the screen. It's ScantZor. Is that how I meant to say that?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining me. We'll be headed into game 2 right quick. Just quickly though, thank you all so much for watching. I'm Llama Down Under. I'd love your feedback on how to get better as a caster. I'm assuming Scant does too. You can leave that at our Twitter handles, where he is ScantZor. I'm Llama Down Under. Thank you all for watching the Star Ladder series. Game 3 decider of who continues on, and we'll have a few words from the sponsors up next. So see you shortly. Peace out, folks.